going on, everybody? Welcome back to Think Outside the BlueBox podcast. I'm Anthony Rivera, the lead videographer and editor here at BlueBox Digital, and today is a special episode because I have one of my favorite people in the world. I interviewed him on a different podcast before, but here he is on the Think Outside the BlueBox podcast, Mr. King Willonius Hatcher. Will, how are you, man?
Man, it's a pleasure to be here, man. Thank you for having me on. Feeling
Yeah, no,
good.
thank you for taking out the time. I know you're a busy man. You're in San Francisco right now. You're at a AI film festival, doing your thing. So why
Mhm.
don't we start from the beginning, man? If you don't mind, for those of you who don't know who you are, or for those of you who don't know who Will is, why don't you introduce yourself, give us a little bit of the origin story, and then we'll kind of take it from there.
Yeah, King Willonius, also go by Avocado Poppy online, and stand-up comedian, AI storyteller. So, my claim to fame last year was I made the song BBL Drizzy that went, mega viral, and then got awarded in Time Magazine 100 most influential in AI for 2024. And then yeah, just trying to be innovative and experiment a lot within the comedic and AI space. And I mean, to really just sum it up, I'm just a very curious person, and I try to just use the tools I have available to create, amazing art and, try to make people laugh.
Oh, I love it. And you mentioned comedy. So is that how you started out? How did you end up being an AI filmmaker? Like, how did that journey kind of evolve?
Really, just again being curious. When ChatGPT dropped in December 2022, at the time I was an aspiring screenwriter, so I was doing the TV writing fellowship, and the writer strike happened, and I just kind of put all my time into learning AI, and the rest is kind of history.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. What made you? I know that AI is kind of everywhere now, so it's kind of in everybody's face. But what kind of got you? What kind of piqued your interest in that? Like, as an artist, I know other artists in the industry kind of reject it, and they're a little bit scared that it's going to replace them and it's stealing other
Right.
people's art. Like, how did you go the complete opposite way and actually embrace it and use it?
Um, yeah, I think it's just, being very curious. I think that's the number one. But then also, at the time, I just didn't feel like I had anything else to do, and I didn't have any other choice. So I didn't have industry connections or anything like that. So it was just like, when you're kind of limited, I think that's where creativity flourishes, right? Because you just have, okay, I have these tools and I have to try to figure out how to make this work. So, using the AI tools, I felt very empowered as a creator because, especially like with the generative AI tools like Mid-Journey and whatnot, like I could take scripts, I could take ideas that I had, and I can create trailers or make, even more dynamic pitch decks. So, I just felt extremely creative. I was like, I'm only limited by my imagination. So for me, that was like super exciting because now you don't have to, spend as much time or resources or money, in executing something that just an idea. Because a lot of times, especially making content or just putting stuff out, you're just testing. You're just throwing things out against the wall. You don't know what's going to hit. You're hoping, the more you do it, you get an understanding of your audience. But nobody really knows what's going to go viral. I have videos or things that I've made that I was like, this is the one that this is going to, you know, do all the numbers, and it didn't do anything. And then things that I didn't think that would do anything, you know, ended up doing the most numbers. So there is art and science, I think, to creating and you can in some ways kind of manufacture a viral moment, but the true organic ones just happen organically. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, and I think that a lot more people are creative than we
Hmm.
get to see, and it's the tools
Right.
that get in the way. It's the skill set with the tool, right? Like
Hmm.
it is such a huge barrier to entry. Like for Photoshop, if somebody has never seen Photoshop before and looks at it and sees all these little icons, they're like, oh my God, I don't even want to touch that. So like their creativity stays inside. So I think
Right.
AI has democratized the art industry in a sense that now people who are creative can express that creativity way
Right.
easier than they would have,
Right.
before AI.
Right, right. And that I think that's important, man, because I mean, at the end of the day, not everybody's trying to be famous with their art. People just want to make art for themselves or make it for their friends and family. Like, hey, with like some of the generative AI music tools, you can be like, hey, I'm having a dinner party. I just want to curate a great playlist, and create some great music. And or maybe even make a song highlighting everybody that's at the dinner party, and you can do that now. So I mean that is really exciting where, before you might not even had that thought because you're like, I don't know where to find a band and this the party's in a week. I don't have time to write a song and compose it and all these different things. So to me that's the cool and exciting part about where we're at with these technologies.
Yeah, and it's also an equalizer too, right? So
Hmm.
like a small studio like us, we can now compete with a little
Right,
bit higher budget projects that we
right,
couldn't have before. So, with a small independent studio, that's a huge game changer for me.
right. Absolutely, absolutely.
So
Um,
what tools do you use? I know you said ChatGPT and that's kind of like for scripting and things. So
yeah. I
walk
mean,
us through your process.
yeah, I recommend everybody to have like a large language model. ChatGPT is my favorite, but it could be Claude or Gemini, Grok, you name it. But um, depending on what I'm doing, so if I'm making films, AI or AI animations, depending on how you want to, brand it. ChatGPT, Midjourney. Um, I, there's so many video generators out right now, but like Kling, VO2, Runway, Ray 2 by Luma Labs, like they're all, fantastic. Um, and then, you have something to clone voices or do your voiceover stuff. So that can be, 11 Labs. If you're doing like sound effects, there's a bunch of different tools for sound effects. So 11 Labs for sound effects as well if you choose to. Um, but that's that, and then Adobe to like edit everything, put everything together. But that's my normal stack. Like there might be some other tools you put on top of that, just depending on what you're trying to do with your story. But with those basic tools, an image generator, a video generator, and something to do voices, you can essentially make a production happen, fairly quickly. And then as far as like music, I'm using like UDO to make my songs, and then like whatever DAW I decide to kind of work with at the time.
So you mentioned the stack, right? So you're not just using one tool that you just put
Hmm.
in one prompt and it pops up a movie, right? Obviously, it takes
Right,
some work in the back end. So what is your
right.
process? Do you generate the image first and then put it into like an animator that takes that image and
Yeah.
animates it?
Hmm. Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, it really depends because I'll go back and forth because like the video generators are getting so good now that you can do text to video for a lot of them, where before it was just like you gotta go, image to video. Image to video is still my preferred method just because you have more control over
Yeah, a lot more
what
control.
you're creating. Um, but yeah, sometimes it's just like I'll just be in Midjourney making images and I'll be like, oh, this is dope. And then that takes you on a whole like, okay, I'm gonna start making a production just based on this really cinematic shot that I saw. And then sometimes, you just waiting for inspiration to hit. Um, but if the cool thing I like about like these tools now is just like, I don't believe in writer's block. Like, first of all, like, cause I don't think it exists. And I think that by acknowledging it, you give it power over you. But if you are having a moment where you're not feeling super inspired, you can just start creating. And that's the reason I say writer's block doesn't exist because you just have to start creating. The process of creating, you'll end up creating.
It
So,
comes to you,
or
yeah.
right. So like, I tell friends, I'm like, people are like, oh, I got writer's block. I can't think of anything to write. And I'm like, well, just start writing. Start writing about
Just
anything.
start, yeah. Just put
Right.
words to paper.
Yeah. So yeah, so a lot of times, so when it pertains to the generative tools, whether it's like the music or um, the images or the video, I just start making things, and I'll just sit down. I'm like, okay, I'm at the very least, I'll sit down for 30 minutes and just start making things, and then in that process, I'll end up figuring something out. So it's a really exciting time, man. Like I said, it's even if it's just for you and you just want to get better at the craft. Because like for me, even though I have like you know fans on different platforms and whatnot, to me it's really just more about getting better at the craft. So that's always my main intention is getting better and trying to get better every time I make a new form of art. Whether it's a song like or whatever, like using the tool better, my writing's better, like all that. So yeah.
Are you pretty tapped into the AI space in the sense that like are you kind of an AI junkie like me? So when new tools come out, you just can't wait to get your hands on them, see
Yeah,
what you can do
yeah,
with it.
yeah, absolutely. And also just like going back and like looking at old prompts and like rerunning old prompts and seeing like how much it improved. Like that's really that like Midjourney
Yeah,
version
even new
7 just
versions of
dropped.
Midjourney when they come out, I rerun all my prompts and see just what the difference is.
Right. Version 7 is nice. It's
Yeah,
it's really, really good. Yeah, I love it, man. So, but right now I guess the AI bull rush never stopped, but like in the last month or 2 months or so, like it's just been like not like the way these models are like just keep
evolving.
updating it like and they're
Yeah.
like everybody trying to one up each other. So it's exciting, man. Like the video stuff is like really, really good. Like it's getting there to that point
It's
where
getting
you're like,
scary good because
yeah,
as a
yeah.
filmmaker, I'm like, is my job obsolete now? Like, am I gonna have to shift? And
Nah, no, I don't
how do
think
you feel
so.
about that?
I don't think so. I think that, I think it's going to create more opportunities for filmmakers. Um, because I mean, this is my experience. I was working on a project. It's a dome experience for BBL Drizzy musical, and because it's a dome experience, I only would have really been able to create it because of AI. And that just the workflow that we had to go down, but because this is such a big, you know, first of its kind type of experience, I have to hire people. You need the people in order to bring on to actually make this thing come to life. But the idea and like the initial execution of it wouldn't have been possible had I not had these tools. So, it's going to allow us to dream bigger. But in order to dream bigger, we still need the people in order to make that happen. So when I came to that realization, I was like, oh no, it's gonna create jobs. Like this is actually like a good thing. So I think a lot of times we just think that, I mean, it happens everything, right? Every technology that
Yeah,
comes around. Like, we're like, man, it's going to take this job, and it's going to take that job. And I'm like, no,
it's the
it's
fear of the
actually,
unknown. Yeah,
yeah, it's going to make more opportunities. I mean, when you really think about it, it's just like even as good as AI video is right now, you don't want to watch a full AI generated movie. You know what I'm saying? Unless
not
it's
yet.
like, and yeah, not yet. But I feel like unless it's actors doing like kind of similar to what they do now with animation, mocap, their voices, but just listen to like an AI generated voice and kind of, a bunch of no non-realistic movements. Like it's once they are going to get really good though.
Yeah, it's
But
gonna
like,
get better.
it's yeah, it's going to get better, of course. But I still feel that you're going to want you still gotta have that human element, man. Like as much as you can generate songs and generate like it's the human element behind it, the person that's prompting it, their the nuances that they know, their artistic discernment, to because that's one of the things now is just like you have an abundance of options, when you make something like making a song, you got 20 versions that sound amazing. So like how do you pick that one? When you generate 1,000 images and they're all beautiful, how do you pick the one that you're just like that one? So it still takes the artistic eye, to be able to like say like this is what the people want to see, or this is what I want to see.
Yeah, no, that's the answer that I was hoping for because
Mm,
I feel exactly the same way. You still need that human element. You still need the
right,
nuance, the
right.
story, and using these as tools and knowing that
Hmm.
they're just tools to empower you. I think that it's not going to replace jobs. It's going to empower existing
Right,
creatives to
right,
stand out and
right,
maybe leapfrog some of these other artists and creatives that are not embracing AI. I think within the
right.
next 5 years or so, there's going to be a huge gap between people, not just creatives, just business owners and people who embrace AI as part of
Right.
their process to empower them and use it as a superpower, which it
Right.
is. And the people who don't, there's going to be a huge divide. What do you think about that?
You know, you know, the way that everything's accelerating right now, um, 5 years is almost kind of hard to imagine. You know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause
With
it just
AI the way that it's moving, dude, I
right,
would willing to say 1 year.
bro. I mean, think about 5 years ago, right? We're talking about 2020. AI wasn't even in
Yeah.
a conversation. Like, it really started hitting 2023, right? So in the last 2 years, from where we've gone
Well,
from
look how far we've come. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, from January 2023 to now is it's been groundbreaking. But one of the things that I think about with as it pertains to AI is it's actually going to get easier for a lot of people to jump in, because like you think about right now, if you want to make an AI film or previous things you're trying to do, you had to stack a bunch of different tools on top of each other. That's probably going to get streamlined, where it's like one tool, you can do everything within one tool. But then also it's just going to get much easier for people to do things. So, well, we can just talk normal, back in like last year, 2 years ago, it was like all about the prompt. It's like, what prompt did you use? And
Yeah.
I think what you're seeing now with like ChatGPT, where they rolled out with their image model, where it's just like everybody jumped in because it was so easy to take your image and convert it to whatever, and I think that there'll be these moments where um, something will happen or drop that makes a lot of consumers or people that weren't in AI jump into it. And I think it'll just get a lot easier for us to use it, where essentially like a 5-year-old could just say like, make me a Grand Theft Auto type movie, and boom, it's
That's it.
it's just um but yeah, man, I think about that a lot, man. Like 5 years, like I just think that it's something so much easier for us to use, and allowing like mass adoption of AI, but then also it's going to be in everything. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's already in most things now, but like
Yeah.
to the point where it's just going to be everybody's going to be a dynamic artist. So from there, it's just like who has the nuances of storytelling, or these other things that these 10 things that it takes 10,000 hours to accomplish, but yeah, man, I think we're really gonna I feel like we're on a collision course more to like Westworld and meets Black Mirror. Like I think that's what society is could potentially look like.
I like that.
Not in a bad
So,
way though. Like it's I
yeah,
think
no,
it's
in a good
yeah.
way.
hmm
Yeah, yeah, no, in a good way. What do you say to people that are rejecting AI with the reason of, it's what they consider stealing from other artists? Because obviously
Mm,
this AI has to be trained. So it kind of gets into the controversial conversation of inspiration versus, you know, copying. What
right.
what what is your thought on what AI is? Is it just being inspired by these other artists, or is it actually like taking some of their elements and stealing them?
Man, that
That's a tough one.
yeah, well, stealing has such a negative kind of, I mean, obviously, because you're like you're taking something that doesn't belong to you. But when you just think about creativity and art, and I mean, just there's everything's a remix essentially of something else. Like even every artist that's starting out had to learn from somebody before them. Whether I'm a comedian, I started out doing jokes like Patrice O'Neill or Dave Chappelle until I
Yeah, you were
found
inspired by them.
right, right. So, but in some context, some people be like, "You just stole your whole act as Dave Chappelle." It's like, "Yeah, I just started comedy last week. I don't know how to do this thing." So,
Until I can
um,
develop my own voice. I
right,
kind of need
right,
these different things
right,
that I can pull from. Yeah, even
right,
filmmakers, like you pull from Steven Spielberg's, way of shooting something, or Michael Bay or whatever. You
right.
kind of pull from these things and you get inspired, and
Well,
then
the
you
great artists, yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, no, go ahead.
Well, I was saying the great artists make it look like they're not stealing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They just like, yeah, you took some time, you have a lot of resources to draw from, and you also have your own style. So this is like a whole new thing. But yeah, so when you think about just like AI, it's essentially modeling the path of the way we learn. You know, it's just like we need the information, we need the data, and then we create from that. So um I don't know, it's not an easy answer, man, but I just hope that artists get compensated, you know what I'm saying, and get taken care of and not get taken advantage of. But um you know, I haven't built any of these models yet, and you know, most of them. I mean, some of them I know they scrape the data, but you don't know where they're pulling it from. You know what I'm saying? And um, it's a really hard catch 22 because you can boycott AI completely and be like, I'm not gonna do anything, but then you're kind of gonna become a dinosaur and get left
You
behind
fall
because
behind. Yeah, absolutely.
so
I,
I
I
don't know.
compare it a lot to the smartphone revolution. When the smartphones
Hmm.
first came out, there was the people that embraced it, and there were the early adopters, and then there's the rejectors. Like I already
Right.
have a phone and I already have a computer. My dad's a perfect example of that. And it got to the point where people started embracing it, and everyone had a smartphone around him. You
He had
know,
to get one.
yeah, he had to get one because it like he has a business. So
Right.
when he was trying to schedule appointments, he would have to go back to his computer to check his calendar, where I was just
Right.
pulling it out of my pocket. So
Right. I mean, think about how much time that saves you, you
yeah,
know, as a business owner, and just like, I mean, that's time is our most valuable resource. So,
time is money.
um,
Yeah,
yeah, bro.
yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, AI is the same thing, you know, it's just like, okay, well, the ones that are embracing it right now, you know, they can kind of run circles around people that aren't.
it's a
It's just like
superpower. Yeah.
yeah, it definitely is. Definitely is.
So obviously you're tapped in. You're at a film festival right now. You're at the forefront of your industry. What trends are you seeing? What are people using? What techniques? What tools? What's
Mm,
coming up?
yeah, I mean, as it pertains to film, uh, you know, there's a race right now. It seems like again, like every week a new model's coming out, but like, you know, Sora's amazing. Clean just dropped a new model yesterday,
Ooh, I
which
saw
is
that.
Clean 2.0. They said it's I haven't tried it out yet, but because I was traveling, but it's the videos I saw were just incredible. Higgs Field, that's another one that's like really dope. VO2 is that's my favorite one right now. Um and yeah, Runway just dropped a new model. So, you know, it's I think now it's really important for filmmakers to really dive into like storytelling and then knowing all the soft and hard skills, you know, like the After Effects and like, you know, other ways that you can just tell dynamic stories to capture people's attention. Feel like we have the tools there to generate all the images that you want, like, you know, and it's dynamic motion. So now it's just about like who can tell better stories, you know, using these tools. But everybody's essentially now a one person production company. If
Yeah,
you
I
so
use it. I use it
right,
quite a bit in my production company. Yeah.
right. So I mean like videos that were like made like in the 80s and night like we can make those now like trailers that were made like anything that you essentially want to do you can so that's it's really exciting, you know. Um so I just see I definitely see more collaborations. I see more like AI feature films coming down the pipeline because people are like, yo, I can let's stop making, or not stop making, but like let's maybe shift from just doing 1 minute Instagrammable content to like let's see what type of narrative stories we can start telling. So I definitely see a lot more of that, a lot more. Well, I mean, it's already happened. Like a lot more AI production companies coming up. Yeah, I just think you know we're just going to see something like a lot of transformation in the AI film space because of how advanced the tools are. Because we're only in Q2 right now,
This is
and
the infancy.
yeah, and we have the best AI video model we've ever seen. So in Q2, so I mean, can you imagine where we're going to be at in Q4?
Q4,
Uh,
yeah. It's gonna
It's
be
gonna be
insane.
it's gonna be insane. Yeah, yeah.
Insane. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I mean now people are using it for B-roll and things like that to kind of fill in,
Right,
but like you said, eventually it's going to get to the point where you can generate an entire, feature film and have the
right,
consistency of the characters, because right now I think that's the problem, right, with the consistency from one video
right.
to another. like
Hmm.
sometimes our phase changes and things like that. But obviously, that's we're just getting started. It's just the
Yeah,
beginning.
yeah, yeah, and it all depends on how creative you want to be, because like you can definitely. I saw this documentary the other day. It was like a cartoon documentary, and I was watching it. I was like, I think it was on Netflix or something like that. But I was like, that's possible right now, like literally, because the characters essentially just sitting down, and all you need is their mouth moving. You can literally do that like right now with the AI tools available. So. Yeah, it's really just the person that wants to sit down and actually create that thing, but it's very doable now, extremely doable. Hmm.
What's coming up for you? What's next? What's in the pipeline? And things that you can talk about. I know there's some things you can't talk about, but
Yeah, just just staying innovative, man. And I've been releasing a lot of music, been like doing pretty much like almost like an album a month, just to challenge myself. And then we just have our musical that we're working on for the end of the year. Just trying to just be innovative as possible, man. So, just looking to go into the planetarium space and create comedy for that medium. Um, Other than that, just traveling, trying to go to as many AI hackathons as possible,
nice.
and then just create every weekend. So I started a year out doing the MIT Reality Hackathon, and I kind of just been applying that to every weekend, whether I have to go to an actual hackathon or I just stay home and do my own personal hackathon where I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna build something this weekend. But um,
So you're also in the tech space then. It's not just filmmaking.
yeah, yeah,
Like you
yeah.
code, you do it all, man. You're jack of all trades.
Well, it's just again, man. I think it's just like just being curious, because um, especially now, we have the talent with the AI, and then there's also people that can work under us. But the best thing you can do is just like know the tools, know what they can do, so that way you can actually direct the people or direct your agents. But you also know what's possible. Like if you don't, like you don't have to know a deep dive into like every tool, but at least know what's possible. Know what's possible of your large language model. Know what's possible with Midjourney or AI video or AI music or just we haven't talked about the technical side of AI, that with AI agents and all the different things that they can do. So at least just having a good overview, and I think that's what AI allows us to do is almost take like a CEO or a manager level view of like what we're doing, and then you can assign the tools to actually go and execute. So for me, it's always just about like continuous learning. And I've always been like that, but like luckily the AI stuff makes it make way more sense. And it's like fascinating now, like the things that I'm interested in, people want to hear me talk about it.
Yeah, and you were the early adopter, man. So you've been in there
Mm.
since Midjourney 1, right?
Right, right,
So you've
right.
seen the evolution of what's happened so far.
Right, right, right.
For the kid out there that's an aspiring artist or an aspiring, techie, what would you say to that kid about,
Um, be curious always, that's number one. And then, I had this conversation last night. I was talking to this guy that I met at this event, and I was like, there's really only like two choices you have, right? And it's like do something or do nothing.
I
And
love
and
that.
and that's really what it boils down to. You're
Yeah.
like, okay, I don't know what to do with my career. Well, do something, and then fill out a resume, make some art, like whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Or do nothing and just allow whatever happens. But just the act of it simplifies and doesn't overcomplicate life and the choices that you make. It's just like, okay, we were talking about like just going viral. And he's like, well, how did you feel when you went viral? And I was just like, well, I just kept making things because I was just like, okay, you go, when you get into the content creation space and you potentially blow up, it's just like, okay, I went viral. Now what? Do I
Yeah.
just stop doing everything I've been doing up until this point, or do I keep going? He's like, well, I'm gonna keep going. Okay, do something. Like, are you going to stop then? And so it's really just, those two choices. But in deciding to do that, and continually do that and do it with the mindset of I'm trying to get better each time, I think that's where you find the sweet spot. So to any young person, I would just say, if you're lost or you're confused, or if you got some motion, just keep doing that, keep doing the thing that's working. But yeah, I just simplified the two things, man. Do something, do nothing. That's it.
All right, King Will, thank you so much for your time. I
Thank
really
you,
appreciate
man.
you coming on the show. Yeah, I know your time is super valuable. You're on the go all the time, so I appreciate you making the time
We got to do this again sometime.
for sure. Yeah, in about a year, we'll we'll come back with Midjourney, 15 or whatever.
Right, right, right. That'd be
Well,
awesome.
thanks again, Will. I appreciate you.
Thank you, bro.